about a week old for Hong Kong attitude here. Certainly wouldn't want to be changing it. Blitz always wears short pants and a t-shirt, even in cold winter.
Yes.
Since 99. Yeah, I know someone like that.
Yep, I know someone like that.
You picked me up earlier today wearing a singlet. I was wearing a jumper and then a duffel coat and a scarf.
I'm still waiting for winter to start. We could hang out. I could hang out with him. That sounds like fun.
In a fridge. Walking fridge.
Sort of cooler room. In an igloo.
Like,
hanging out in an igloo.
In an igloo, like, man, it's kind of hot in here. Open a window.
Punch out a bullet.
Yeah.
Anyway, match is starting.
To the point, Hong Kong attitude go. They get themselves nicely set up with the shield comp, and DeToNator.KOREA do have some decent tools against it. They don't have that spam damage, but they catch McCulty, so kind of got the opener, and Hong Kong attitude just had to fully pull off the point because of it.
And now you're going to see Hong Kong attitude somewhat struggle to get back in. They don't have diving tanks, which means they have to walk onto the point. If you're going to walk onto the point, that means you can get dived. And Blitz firing up some EMP charge right there, already up to 60%.
That's going to be a real hard one for Hong Kong attitude to contend with. He's already kind of wrapping around the backside here.
Can't complete the hack.
Yeah, and Mango Jaisi spins around, reads it, deals with it, and they have started to muscle DeToNator.KOREA off. Daheem has to pull in the recall, and Mango Jai, very quick coalescence out now as they get back on the point in their own right. DeToNator.KOREA just kind of had to give the space, but they will be looking to re-enter with their EMP.
And this is the kind of advantage the first ultimate of the game gives you, right? For Hong Kong attitude, Mango Jai, huge tanks taking a lot of damage. That means a lot of ultimate.
There it is, right into the middle, right into the mix. Coalescence out of Apache as well, and yeah, that's a fine win for DeToNator. That's what happens when you layer out those ultimates, and Mui, I think, will get away with his life.
And the difference here is the EMP makes the coalescence from DeToNator.KOREA so much better. It's the Apache gunship this time around. Blitz already charging up his next EMP, already on his way. And again, for Hong Kong attitude, they've been rebuffed. They have tank ultimates to come through this time around, but they've got to find the positioning. And speaking of finding positioning...
Oh, man, Daheem looking to get a full wraparound. Mango Jai does sniff it out, though, so Daheem isn't quite going to get this one for free, yeah. But that's a really well-positioned self-destruct. Just forces Hong Kong attitude off to the side for a moment, buys more time on the point. They're still yet to really find their entryway in this fight, and you see, yeah, Blitz, and I mean, there's still Daheem somewhere around the backside. Mui is looking for the angle, commits the EMP. They need to get the conversion, Grav in the mix as well, but they're not really closing out the kills. Finally getting Prong's mech, having to commit a coalescence as well. Sound barrier out for DeToNator, but this is so expensive for Hong Kong attitude. Finally starting to fall their way at the back of all that, but now you've got to consider what tools do they have left for their defense. DeToNator are coming up on an EMP.
And at the same time, though, while they do come up on the EMP, DeToNator had to use their ultimates to get the ultimates out of Hong Kong attitude. So the EMP now has to be make or break. This has to be the best EMP. If the EMP fails, they do not have a fallback plan. They do not have a safety net. DeToNator.KOREA are all in on one ultimate.
And I mean, hey, it may just be the best EMP. Ask anyone.
We got the best.
We have the best EMPs. And Blitz is going to get right onto the point with said EMP, instantly drops those shields from the equation. CQB does at least get a sound barrier off there, not done just yet. Apache down without using the coalescence. A Ting does unfortunately go down as he goes in with the charge, but Daheem sort of popped off the edge at some point there, and the DPS is here. Mui from Hong Kong attitude still doing a ton of work in the middle of the fight. They do have to start giving it up, giving the space, but they may actually want to try and re-enter on this one. Or maybe not anymore. Not with CQB down, I don't think.
We still need to get this cap on through, though. Hong Kong attitude decide they want to go in coalescence and EMP layered.
Yeah, I mean, the tanks were actually able to get back in, and Modern kind of found himself on the wrong side of that, diving in for CQB. Ended up costing him there. Hong Kong attitude, very nicely handled, just kind of balancing the point.
And this is a tough loss for DeToNator.KOREA because they had so much weight placed upon the EMP. It wasn't successful enough. Talk about Mui having, or not Mui, but Mango Jai having a great nose. He spotted out the EMP, he spotted out Blitz, faded away from it, dodged the EMP, forced Blitz to hack him instead.
High perception stat. That's going to be a charge in right onto Kronzbeck, way away from the fight. This is actually potentially bad for a Ting. He's now miles away from his team, who are kind of getting cut to bits on the point. A Ting, I mean, sure, he got Krong, but point goes over the way of DeToNator.KOREA. Ting doesn't really have any good way of getting out of this. He's going to be staggered here.
Let's also consider that right now Hong Kong attitude are ahead in 99. This is probably the most that DeToNator.KOREA have been pushed, at least onto Nepal so far. DeToNator.KOREA have pushed enough that they're actually behind right now. We're back onto the EMP. We're back onto the one ultimate that DeToNator.KOREA had before. All the weight and all the pressure onto Blitz. Didn't work last time. It has to work now.
They've got the tools here, Hong Kong Attitude. Got the Earth Shatter, got the Death Blossom coming up. We'll have a grab as well, but they need to make them connect in their own right. EMP out. It's not too huge, but it's got Mango. It's got Tsukimi as well. They've really got to convert here. McCulty working double time. Gets Modern. Trying to get back onto the point. There it is. Oh, the Earth Shatter out. It's not a lot, but it may just be enough. Last few members, only Sleepy Bear and Blitz. To the point, Cap looking to go back the way of Hong Kong Attitude, but Ating so super low. They need to get on it. Ating! Oh, Sleepy Bear's damage. He was so low. He and Mui both backed off for a second to lick their wounds.
That was very nearly not a DeToNator.KOREA win. And the difference at the end of the day, you have to give it to Sleepy Bear. Who knew that Lucio was going to be the biggest clutch player on the team? All he needed was one boop against Ating, push him away, then Ating tries to come back in, and the damage from Sleepy Bear getting the kill into time as the overtime ticks down to 0, and that gives DeToNator.KOREA the lead so far onto Nepal 1-0. But wow, a 99-99 that nearly did not go in the favor of DeToNator.KOREA. They had to work for every inch, every percentage, and Shailin, very like cosplay and cosplay's girl.
4, 3,
Yes.
1.
Me too.
Round
I very like
Do you cosplay
cosplay's
girl?
girl.
I mean, we call that cross-dressing in English. Or does he mean a specific girl? DeToNator.KOREA. Just kind of running a not quite stock standard dive. They've got the McCree in the mix here, but Hong Kong Attitude sticking basically onto the same thing as I say that. It's actually extremely different to before. We are seeing Mui stick on the Sombra though, along with Blitz, who is kind of leading him in terms of the ult charge.
We're not seeing the big shield tanks come out this time, so let's see if Taheem can land the shots. And so far at 68%, 69, you got to say it's definitely a yes for now, but they need kills off it. They can't just land free damage but no deaths.
Blitz just slowly getting pressured out, and he is going to be able to translocate away, but if they sort of mistime this too much, yeah, Coalescence in from Mango, and that's what they need. Like I said, if members of DeToNator find themselves ducking in and out at wrong times, a little bit disjointed, then could find themselves in a bad spot to fight, but not turning around in time. Mango was trying to kill Apache rather than save Shailin, and now DeToNator are able to just bite back.
The difference this time is, despite Mango Giant having a very early coalescence, DeToNator were not super far behind. Apache responding with his own Transcendence very quickly, and then Blitz coming in with some kills. Now they've held on to those other ultimates, so just the Transcendence was enough to save DeToNator.KOREA, allow them to cap that point, and 24% for Hong Kong Attitude is not enough of a lead. Both teams with EMP.
I love an EMP battle. Well, I love it and I hate it, right? Because it's like, it's one of those times where, like, most often we see a, man, that should have worked, but it didn't. Or that shouldn't have worked, but it did. But at any rate, it's going to be Mui who commits his first. Very quick on the draw with that one, but Taheem still untouched. Is still getting the damage out here. And now Blitz responding with his own onto almost the entirety of Hong Kong Attitude. Clustered as they are on the point. That should be Shailin's mech there. He tries to bolt away. Will actually get out of that one, but DeToNator hold on to the point.
And that could have been very different because Mui landed his EMP first. Blitz was forced out. You saw him translocate, but the difference maker was that Taheem managed to get kills despite the EMP landing from Mui, giving enough time for Blitz to come in with his own. And when he comes in with his own, DeToNator.KOREA collapse. They collect the rest of the kills. They defend that point.
Now, I mean, there's still all these ultimates that they can just kind of cycle through here. Got the stall tools, and they're still leading in that EMP charge as well. Only just barely, but Mango, another quick coalescence. It's going to really have to pay dividends, though, because, oh no! 2 members bumped out into the eye of the self-destruct cap right as they came through. Yeah, the cap does come into Hong Kong Attitude, but Shailin is not going to be able to secure this, hold this out for long. It was kind of funny that they went over, actually, but DeToNator.KOREA unequivocally winning the fight will get the cap back in their favor.
Yeah, they pulled backwards and they managed to get the kills. The self-destructs into the kill from Taheem as well. But for Hong Kong Attitude, what that cap does allow them to get is that extra 10%. That extra 10% will come in very handy towards the end of the game. But right now they're behind. They're looking for small things to use to come back. And the fact that they have to come back in the first place means it's tough.
They've got a few ultimates to commit here, but DeToNator are coming into the more impactful ones. Modern though going down, not saved by any support. Strong as well. And it looks like DeToNator are actually willing to let this one go the way of Hong Kong Attitude, knowing that they have got a lot of ultimates to come back into the fight with.
And now you see the difference that earlier 10% made, right? Because had that 10% not have gone through, we would have already seen DeToNator.KOREA forcing the overtime. which means Hong Kong Attitude are also that extra 10% behind right now. And with some of the tools available, Coalescence coming up from Mango Giant, you can expect Hong Kong Attitude to aggressively rotate these ultimates because they have to, because they know they need to make up the difference in percentage.
Oh, there it is out of Coalescence already from Mango Giant, but they lose CQB, and good heavens, would you look at the time? Who nearly got the catch out there on, I believe that was Mui poking his head out, who does still have an EMP. There he goes, commits it into the middle of the team, but there's no one to follow up. It's actually Shaolin who gets demech'd and was hacked as well. Could not use his self-destruct to preserve the mech, and Hong Kong Attitude is kind of getting taken out now one by one, not at all in position to capitalize off Mui's EMP for how well placed it may have been. As the point cap back the way of DeToNator. Last few members of Hong Kong Attitude, they are in for a penny, in for a pound here. They do actually catch Sleepy Bear with the self-destruct, certainly not done just yet. Shaolin really working hard to try and keep this point alive for his team, but he is going to go down before too long. It's going to have to be a team now balancing the aggro. Modern with a Primal Rage will be able to corner trap Mango Jai, take him out of the picture. Now able to buff it Shaolin off the point. It's just a Ting here trying to hold the ground all alone. McCulty may try and dart in, but by the time he gets there, there are going to be no teammates left. Indeed, he will not even make it in time. And that's DeToNator winning Nepal.
And you can see how much cleaner that was than, say, earlier on in Shrine, right? Because this time around, Blitz managed to save that EMP right towards the end for so long. The fact he didn't even need to use it, and they still managed to save that cap. They still managed to finish the game. Let's also talk about the EMP from the opposite side. Yes, Mui landed onto just about all the important members, including Tahim, but he didn't quite get Apache, so he didn't get that one member. That was the one member that would have saved DeToNator.KOREA. Ended up coming through with the Transcendence. The EMP makes no difference when you can't get any kills in there. No reason to even respond there, so it's kind of mentioned, look, no one went onto the EMP, but at the same time, if there's a Transcendence, well, you're not going to get anything done anyway, so just well counted. DeToNator.KOREA knew what was coming, and they had the right answers.
And that's kind of the gameplay we really expect out of DeToNator.KOREA. I have to say, it did come down really to just one fight on that very first map of Nepal, but even then, with how the second one went, I've got to feel that DeToNator.KOREA would have actually closed that one out regardless. It's now 1-0 up in the series. Goes to Hybrid next, and I mean, DeToNator.KOREA are really good at this momentum-based gameplay. What do we actually need to see out of Hong Kong Attitude? I'll throw this one to you. What do we actually need to see out of Hong Kong Attitude specifically to have them actually turning this one around? Because it doesn't feel like they're necessarily playing well below their own capability here. It does just kind of feel like DeToNator.KOREA are right now the better of the two. I
think they need to pressure DeToNator.KOREA a little bit more, because what you're really seeing right now is specifically talking about Village. And by the way, it's going to be Nambani, the next map that we go into. When you look at Village, it's very much a case of when DeToNator.KOREA, even when they're behind, it's like they'll give away the cap to come in with the correct resource to retake it anyway. They're never behind enough to say, we've lost the objective, we don't have resources, we actually don't have enough tools here. They've always got something into the back pocket. The fact that Blitz can get away with not EMPing pretty much at all right at the end there, holding it in their back pocket, that's a little too much. Like, DeToNator.KOREA shouldn't have been able to hold on to so many tools when they're in a position where Hong Kong Attitude need to be threatening to take the win. They just never really had enough grit.
There do also seem to be just a few kind of misfires here and there from Hong Kong Attitude. Not anything too major, not anything on a grand scale, but, you know, there were a couple of times well-placed EMPs were unfortunately not able to be followed up upon, and, you know, that means that actually it's not a good EMP, right? Because the best EMP, not only does it catch everyone, but it happens such that your team is ready to pounce and capitalize on it. You've got damage that can follow up on it. And so far, that's for the most part just not been the case here for Hong Kong Attitude. Not going to be running a Sombra here on the offense anyway. It looks like they are going to go ahead, pull onto the McCree. It's not even a McCree, it's a Genji.
It's not so much the EMP. Like, to be fair, the EMP was fine. It's the fact that DeToNator.KOREA had the correct answers, right? The fact that Apache had that Transcendence, made sure to outposition the EMP, and it doesn't matter how good your EMP is after that. You can then choose to either solo EMP Apache if you know where he is, or EMP the rest of the team, and either of those options, unfortunately, are pretty nasty.
Yeah.
So DeToNator.KOREA, again, they have the correct answers. That's why they're winning so far. Now for Hong Kong Attitude, they need to find some correct answers as well, because so far, it's DeToNator.KOREA's game. They're dictating how this game is played.
Hong Kong Attitude need to step it up a little bit on their attack now onto Numbani. Interesting that we're going to see a Pharah on the defense here, actually. That's not something we've seen a whole lot of. We have seen a reasonable number of attack Pharahs, but it's a bit of a different thing.
The defense one is also, you can say, pretty much just as effective because the kind of the response now is that Mui doesn't have to go into Widow, but feels like he does want to go into Widow, and we've sort of detailed some of the issues that offense Widow has on A. Just not enough good sight lines to use, very easy to pressure. You can see Mui just, his positioning is being read and Blitz even as the fire that gets countered here can just spam damage out.
That's a good catch from Mui onto Apache. Makes it a lot less safe for Blitz now. Most of those shots that hit should stick. Just need to actually land the shot. Wow, onto Daheem. And now he can just start fishing for the Pharah. Krong does at least get one onto Mango Jai. But yeah, this is starting to slide the way of Hong Kong Attitude. The Widow from Mui really pulling its weight here. Catch on Sleepy Bear as well. Effectively point blank, and I don't really see DeToNator.KOREA coming in to contest this either.
They're not going to be able to, and this is one of those moments where Mui just makes it work. He finds that early kill into Apache, and it kind of just snowballs from there. Daheem may have been able to pressure him out, but Daheem gets point blank headshot as well. Then it's just no one left to challenge the rest of Hong Kong Attitude. DeToNator.KOREA have to fall back, have to change their composition, have to respect this offense Widowmaker coming out.
Having to back up a little bit though, getting very deep on the dive there, but Modern goes down for his troubles, and oh man, Krong as well. May have been a little bit too aggressive out of DeToNator.KOREA. They're trying to take a very early fight, and in all fairness, the payload hasn't moved a whole lot. They will get another defense here, but this does give ultimate charge over to Hong Kong Attitude, allows them to get some momentum on their side.
So much ultimate charge that they're about to hit 5 now. Infrasight used to look at the positioning of DeToNator.KOREA, and importantly, spots out Blitz, so forces him back, and right now, Hong Kong Attitude can position wherever they like it, any early fight that they like, and use the rest of their ultimates any way they like as well.
Not quite getting the catch onto Blitz, unfortunately there, Mui. McCulty wide on the pulse bomb as well. DeToNator do have a bit of a window here. The Valkyrie's already come out from CQB, but McCulty takes out Daheem in the 1v1, and they've still got some good resources available here on Hong Kong Attitude. So commit now out of DeToNator.KOREA, Modern with the Primal Rage. Payload hasn't made it too far forward as well, so if they can sort of protract this fight for quite a while, they could burn a lot of time off the clock here, but Hong Kong Attitude is still moving forward. Apache finally in with the Transcendence. Should be enough for them to start converting kills over, but it's not quite happening. They're taking a lot of time, a lot of resources to start winning this fight.
Well, Hong Kong Attitude are running out of gas, right? Because while they were trying to push on through with the resources that they threw into there, DeToNator.KOREA hadn't really had to respond yet. You saw the one Primal Rage out of Modern, but other than that, you didn't have to see the other two support ultimates until a little bit later on, until Hong Kong Attitude had basically burnt up all the resources that they had, and now DeToNator.KOREA in such a great defensive positioning. Mui fresh onto the Sombra, nothing to use. Early EMP.
Right, and does actually go down 1-for-1, but now here's Daheem to hopefully convert another one. Ooh, Primal Rage just in the nick of time for a ting. Pulse Bomb out, but no, he is trapped in the corner, unfortunately. Shailin a little bit low. In fact, a lot of these members very low. Hong Kong Attitude not as healthy in this fight as they would like to be, but they can just sort of back out, readdress it. Now they still have a numerical advantage. They need to convert. They get Apache on the dive, but it gets traded back. And the payload hasn't really made a lot of progress.
It's starting to make progress now, and it should be able to fully cap out now as well. DeToNator.KOREA, they've got something to say about that one.
Piling on.
Self-destruct available into this fight as well. Hong Kong Attitude don't quite have the ultimates just yet. Maybe Mui gets an EMP.
Yeah, Modern's had to duck out of the fight though, at least temporarily, so now just rejoining the fray. Can't really stick around for too long. There's going to be the self-destruct out. Nice jump by a Ting to get up on the balcony as a way of avoiding it. The cap nearly over here. Oh, a Ting does go down. They never actually closed out on Modern. Mui though in with that EMP. That should be the one that they need to start closing it out. They got a Transcendence out of Mango Jai as well, just for good measure. There's the close on Modern and Blitz as well. That is the last hurrah there for DeToNator.KOREA on that point. Cap goes over.
Well, you consider how quickly Hong Kong Attitude moved through onto the A and how much snowball momentum they originally started with. The fact that DeToNator.KOREA were able to subside some of that pressure and also fight back, win a couple of fights and then defense onto B, they bought themselves a lot of time, and now going into the C attack, Hong Kong Attitude might struggle. 3 minutes 20 remaining could be too little time to play with.
Yeah, it's really not ideal. They need to get one heck of a gravy train going underway with these EMPs, but it's Blitz who has his coming up soon, and already not off to a great start despite the double sound barrier, but the damage is still there to drill down these tanks of Hong Kong Attitude. That is a lot of health that DeToNator.KOREA had to be damaging through, and Hong Kong Attitude just have to back off.
You see the sound barrier difference as well. DeToNator.KOREA first with that one in, very aggressive play. Hong Kong Attitude responded with their own, but Shailin already demeched. Another member didn't even get it, so at best they had 4 members on the sound barrier. They had to use it just to make sure they didn't have any additional deaths. They at least get to have that, which means they at least get an early fight again.
Just means how are you? He just says, ¿Qué tal? Just like, how are you? I mean, I get that it's meant to be like a hey there, but it seems like a strange turn of phrase to use. But at any rate, this is not the ideal start actually for DeToNator.KOREA. They did at least trade one back, so again, the EMP not going to be coming up for a while for Hong Kong Attitude, but they're getting some payload progress here.
At the same time, DeToNator.KOREA not quite pressured though, right? They lost a little bit of distance, but look at the ultimates. Now they get to go back whenever they like. They get to pick the fight that they like, and when the EMP comes down, expect all of the collapse to happen.
Oh man, yeah. Going straight on in, EMP on the left, Coalescence on the right. They got all the ultimates available.
Counter
You
EMP.
can fight however you like. Counter EMP, I mean, it's something, and they are actually getting the conversion off it as well. So DeToNator, for the ultimates committed, didn't quite close out, didn't want to press the go button on the other ultimates like the Transcendence. But that does mean they now get those ultimates for this next part of the defense.
We need to start seeing some of these other ultimates out of DeToNator.KOREA now, because the cap is almost forced on through. You can't be too lean now for DeToNator.KOREA. You need to make sure this defense is settled underway.
You can, you know, sit on all those chips, but eventually you've got to cash them in, and that's Apache going in with that Transcendence. Was kind of forced out of him a little bit by McCulty, who's now looking to maybe come back around and get a pulse bomb, but with these members dead, they do have to pull off. So DeToNator.KOREA finally starting to use up a few more of those ultimates, because they kind of had to.
You're now seeing Hong Kong Attitude start to pressure out DeToNator.KOREA a little better, where they're threatening to win, they're threatening to complete the map, and DeToNator.KOREA are forced to actually do something about it, whereas previously DeToNator.KOREA using the space that they have, saying, okay, we can give up maybe a fight here, give up a little bit of distance here, get a more favorable fight later on. They're finding favorable fights, but now they're finding favorable fights and having to use resources too.
Both of these Sombras now running relatively even with those EMPs. Blitz just barely leading though. Oh dear, McCulty down. That really takes the wind out of Hong Kong Attitude sails unless they can convert some kills very quickly. And since they can't, they do just have to pull back and wait for him. Only 30 seconds left.
You don't have too much time to wait though. You don't want to be waiting for one member when there's barely enough time. At the 30-second mark, if you push just then without losing McCulty, maybe you get a second wave of respawns at the 0-minute, 0-second mark. But right now, it's going to be one more push and pushing directly into 4 ultimates.
Just trying to find that angle in, and DeToNator.KOREA going to try and make this as difficult as possible. They got ultimates as well. There's the EMP right into the mix of it, but Blitz pressured out. Oh, yeah, no coalescence. Great catch with the pulse bomb. The sound barrier is decent out of CQB, but they've just lost too many members. There's not enough to have really capitalized on that EMP that they did commit. And DeToNator.KOREA come in to clean up the scraps, sweep away the last few specks of Hong Kong Attitude on the cart. That is going to be where the defense will meet its finality. Now onto their own offense, looking to put themselves up 2-0.
You can see how good that last EMP was as well. Shut down shut down a team from using the Primal Rage, which is really huge for buying time for Hong Kong Attitude, but almost quite importantly there as well, shutting down Mango Jai, preventing the Coalescence from coming down. So many of the tools, the very few tools, mind you, that Hong Kong Attitude did have, they could not even use. And for DeToNator.KOREA, just pick and choose however you like, whichever way you want to come in, whichever ultimate you want to play with. They had that choice to play with. Hong Kong Attitude were left with no choice.
I have to say there was a moment there where DeToNator.KOREA were potentially about to be a little over-conservative. I mean, you know, when you saw Apache get pressured out, have to use the Transcendence, it almost looked like he didn't want to have to use it, right? And like, you can respect that. If you don't have to use it, then yeah, you don't want to use it. But there is a point at which you can be a bit too conservative. DeToNator haven't quite crossed that line just yet, don't get me wrong, but I'm getting itchy fingers.
Well, yes and no, because too conservative would be DeToNator.KOREA just lose and they forgot to use things. Now that would be too conservative. But too conservative, but not quite there, is, you know, saying we can give up some space. We'll allow the count to make this kind of distance, but we're looking at the long-term game here. We're looking to win any which way. Like this is the team, and this is kind of how I look at the mark of a good team, right? A good team, when they go into a map, let's use Control for example, they don't care about winning 100-0. If they win 100-99, they've still won, and that's how DeToNator.KOREA play. They'll play for the end goal, which is the win. That's why they'll allow the cart to make some extra distance as long as they can 100% guarantee that win. And right now, they are kind of skirting the line, but they're very good at skirting the line.
And that's the thing, you can skirt the line, but as long as you're constantly staying above it, doesn't really matter how dangerous it looks. And if you can consistently do that, then, hey, what's the harm in taking the risk if you know it's going to be able to pay off for you? And that is a confidence that comes with the caliber of team that DeToNator.KOREA currently are.
I'm going to see the Pharmacy come out on A point again, this time out on attack for DeToNator.KOREA. Mui, the defensive soldier play. Hopefully he can get as much impact as he can. Maker on attack, and so far, DeToNator.KOREA with a lot of great positioning. Yeah,
they did get a little bit pressured, but no kills came through the way of Hong Kong Attitude, and now they have to sit it back off the point once again. There's the dive, though. They found an angle onto Sleepy Bear. Need to get a little bit more. They get Apache, getting blitz as well. Mui, able to be set up where he is really starting to do work now for Hong Kong Attitude on this defense.
You can see the sort of adaptation there as well. Maybe even looking for a final kill into Modern as he sort of backs out there. But DeToNator.KOREA, they rolled on straight onto the point. Hong Kong Attitude, they had to disperse their defense in the midst of the chaos. Mui decided he wanted to take the long flank around, straight on top of the high ground where the attackers normally are, uses that high ground, snipes out two players, gets himself a secure defense. Brilliant play.
Now, trying to make their way around the side. Looking for, excuse me, a similar kind of high ground setup, diving straight in. Trying to be decisive onto Shaolin, but they just kind of back off, give the space. And being able to pull out as well. DeToNator.KOREA with the coalescence, keeping these members topped off, but they are suffering quite a lot of pressure here. Hasn't quite converted into kills just yet, but now they're starting to get a little bit scattered. That Sleepy Bear a long way away from the fight, but with McCulty going down, they do have a bit of an upper hand in the fight. Finally, though, the conversion onto Modern and now Krong's mech as well. Takes the tanks out of the picture. Blitz looking for an angle on this rocket barrage. He does get Mui, gets CQB as well, actually, but that's all he's going to get now. Hong Kong Attitude still kind of able to re-enter here. Yeah, he does get more onto Shaolin here, and Rez as well onto Sleepy Bear. A ting down late in it, and it means that Blitz almost single-handedly has been able to hold on to the point for DeToNator.KOREA. Able to get the damage out, able to convert the kills through when it was starting to look a little bit rough.
Well, this is the thing, right? He understands what the comeback mechanic for Hong Kong Attitude is. He understands what the biggest threat on that team is. And while his own team is kind of struggling to take this point, he manages to find the flank, takes on both CQB and Mui, who, by the way, had the tactical visor. Would have liked to have committed the tactical visor, but went down so quickly against the rocket barrage. That's DeToNator.KOREA understanding how to win.
Mui set up on this ground here. Took a bit of pain, but he's going to be just fine. They are set up in a nice position here to get a sort of quick early fight. Going to go very aggressive with that tactical visor, and it pays off. They get Sleepy Bear. Traded one back, though, and they now have to pull back as the dive comes in from DeToNator.KOREA, losing Mango as well. They haven't actually got any further kills. They've got members low, but low isn't enough. You've got to close it out. A Ting with this nano boost on him hasn't really got much done. They get Krong, but that's about all they'll get. They'll lose Shailin's mech for their trouble. McCulty down as well.
And this is where you're starting to see, you know, DeToNator.KOREA finding the right places to get aggressive, and still they're finding the right places. They're pushing Hong Kong Attitude out. Hong Kong Attitude don't even have the players to try to fight back right now. You're going to see a lot of free cart push. Hong Kong Attitude will manage to get back on the cart in the final moments because a Ting has a Primal Rage. But even before, a Ting wasn't quite on the Primal Rage, got pushed out as during the Nano Boost.
Yeah.
That's just a good example of the pressure coming up from DeToNator.
And he is going to have to dive in first. Now the rest of the team able to come in and follow up. Primal Rage out already, and they're not getting those kills through once again. Blitz, though, finally going down. That is a great corner trap for a Ting, but the counter dive coming in from Modern. They trade one back on the CQB. Mango, clutch Transcendence, is able to get out onto the payload as well to get the team topped off. This is something that Hong Kong Attitude need to really capitalize on. DeToNator.KOREA not going to lose any members. They just start sort of backing up a little bit.
DeToNator, though, they still have tools to use, right? They're backing up a little bit, but they should be able to get back in equally as quick.
Exactly.
Blitz nearly onto the EMP. They don't let go of this pressure valve. They're continuing this, and they should cap off it.
Shaolin has to commit the self-destruct there to preserve the mech. Does at least get back in it, but yeah, DeToNator.KOREA not letting the pressure up. But there's Mui with that EMP in, and that finally is the tool that Hong Kong Attitude can capitalize on. But that was long, it was drawn out, and it was expensive for Hong Kong Attitude.
The point is nearly capped, but this was an important fight victory because we're now starting to bleed important time off the timer of DeToNator Korea. If DeToNator Korea can't get this next attack in, we're expecting DeToNator Korea to maybe head into the overtime for B. It's unexpected though because they have so many resources to use, and this is where DeToNator is very, very good. When they lose, they still have good comeback mechanics.
You'd certainly expect Blitz to be able to get a good EMP down that should sort of crack this one open for the Ting, though. Having to kind of back off, and Shaolin has to be careful here. This gives DeToNator Korea an inroad EMP. Very quick commit. A Ting dropped instantly. McCulty as well. Shaolin to follow. And that's going to be it for the point B defense there for Hong Kong Attitude. That was so lightning fast out of Blitz. Very aptly named.
And this is the other thing as well. DeToNator Korea don't have to use any other ultimates. Many teams in the same scenario would unfortunately have to commit a bit more. But DeToNator Korea, we talk about them skirting the line. This is them skirting it so very, very well. Almost 5 ultimates despite the EMP not being there. And Hong Kong Attitude, they're running dry.
Yeah, they've really got nothing to go on here. They need to get a good pulse bomb or something to kind of open this up. McCulty is looking for the angle, but he's just not finding any inroads. They get Apache, though, as the sound barrier comes out. That's a decent open, but they need to not lose any members. And McCulty is still just having such a hard time staying in these fights for too long. He's barely able to get any damage down, just constantly getting pressure out on the side. That means the payload moves. A Ting needs to be careful here. Bit of a man alone. Mango committing the coalescence. DeToNator can just kind of wait it all out.
And it felt like DeToNator kind of lost that because they lost members, but now they re-push in with this EMP. Now they're collecting members. Mango trying nowhere to run. They're losing even more.
Oh, that is a clutch sound barrier. Shaolin as well gets the self-destruct. But again, DeToNator Korea didn't really use much on that one there. They're just kind of drawing ultimates out of Hong Kong Attitude. But finally, Hong Kong Attitude and McCulty able to kind of get work done around the side. Finally able to get that room to maneuver, and it does start to pay off in kills.
And there's a consistent pattern here for Hong Kong Attitude because when they are winning, it's usually when Mui has EMP. It's usually when he has EMP at the right time as well, on the right members, because for DeToNator Korea, they keep putting on this pressure. They do not relent, and for Hong Kong Attitude, the only way they stop DeToNator Korea is to EMP, and it's usually the second EMP because Blitz comes first.
Always. He has just so consistently led, even when they've been effectively even, when they've used them at almost the exact same moment. Blitz has then always drawn ahead in that ultimate charge. Just an edge that they currently have over Hong Kong Attitude.
That being said, though, we are running out of time now. 43 seconds remaining, and this is where DeToNator Korea losing a member is really bad.
And just as we were saying, that Blitz has had that edge go straight down in the flat 1 versus 1. That is one way to prove your superiority. Shaolin does need to respect that there's a lot of members here. Mui does go down for the dive. Yeah, it is a bit of a punish, but they're able to get a chunk of members. Looking to even get Apache. Ooh, Shaolin does lose the mech, may end up going down, but he's got plenty of time to reset himself anyway. Only 20 seconds now left, 15. DeToNator still losing members this late in the fight.
This might be a stroke of genius now for Hong Kong Attitude. We're now committing ultimates at the spawn of DeToNator Korea, who are pressured to get this on the point right now. Blitz with the EMP, but can he even use it?
Oh, no.
Translocate backwards.
And he's still trapped in the same location. They're not on the payload. That is their first map loss of Contenders Season 1. Hong Kong Attitude have done it. It was a stroke of genius, as it turns out. Effectively a spawn camp, and if not that, then one of the most brutal staggers I have ever seen.
Just finding a Blitz in the final moments. Wow, this is Hong Kong Attitude right there, really coming out to play right now. It's DeToNator Korea playing so calm, so collected, and even so calculated, but right when it counted, Blitz and the rest of DeToNator Korea thought they could just roll in, as they always have. They thought they could just find the fight they were looking for, as they always have. But Mui has been that one factor, that one person that really puts a stop to everything DeToNator Korea wants to do. Finding Blitz, getting that kill, then for Hong Kong Attitude to say, we're not done, we're pushing you all the way back to spawn, and guess what? You don't have time, you can't afford another fight loss.
And all those ultimates that they had been preserving, that they had been holding on to, going, yeah, next fight, we're just going to walk on and use these ultimates, have that advantage. Hong Kong Attitude went, no, you're not. You're going to die, having not used that ultimate.
There's no
we are not going to give you the space to back up. They kept the pressure on all the way back to the spawn. I mean, that was really incredible. And that's not the sort of thing you could do if there was any more time on the clock. That was very nearly really dangerous. And even then, it was a very high-risk, high-reward play out of Hong Kong Attitude. But you've also got to consider, with where the payload was, even if that had started to go sour for Hong Kong Attitude, they would have had time to reset, have another fight. That was the exact right time to take a big risk.
And it's barely a risk, right? Because it feels more calculated than a risk. A risk feels like, okay, well, we're desperate here, let's try and make something work. But that felt like, no, this is exactly how we win. And with that 1-1 apiece, Hong Kong Attitude strike back themselves, and now every single team has had some taste of defeat. This one's going to be a hell of a series. So when we come back, Hong Kong Attitude versus DeToNator.KOREA does continue.